Hey, welcome everybody to NBC News Channel's 13 Now, your own personalized YouTube newscast. I'm your friendly neighborhood anchor, Steve Cooge. Happy almost Valentine's Day, everybody. Hopefully, you got some plans for tomorrow if you're not single. If you're married, I really hope you got plans. Otherwise, your spouse is probably going to be a little ticked off. I'm working tomorrow night. So, we celebrated last night. It was a little easier. Went to a nice restaurant in Saratoga. Don't have to worry about crowds because, again, this year Valentine's Day is on a Friday. So I hope you did get restaurant reservations maybe a week ago, maybe a couple of weeks ago. Probably necessary. If you're new to the 13 Now YouTube thing that we do here at News Channel 13, basically we're just going to break down some of the top stories that we're tracking for you today. The first one coming to us out of the Menands area. Officers, state police in New York, hoping that you guys watching right now might be able to help them crack a murder investigation. They're looking for this person right here you're about to see. This is a person of interest, this guy right here. His name is Anthony Kaysen. He's from Baltimore, Maryland. But officers think that Mr. Kaysen here might be able to tell them something about the murder of Daniel Fremont. This is a murder that happened over in Troy. Kaysen is already charged and in jail due to an October murder of an off-duty law enforcement officer in Pennsylvania. It is a case, however, that New York State Police think has a lot of similarities to the murder of Daniel Fremont in Troy. Kaysen, again, currently serving jail time in Pennsylvania, but the Menands murder of Fremont could be, it could be his doing as well. Before he was arrested in Pennsylvania, the photos of Kaysen appear to be similar to a description of a person seen leaving the scene of a murder in Menands. So if anybody saw Kaysen in the area at or around the time of the Fremont murder, again, that's a murder that happened last April. Please give law enforcement a call. They'd love to hear from you. I'm sure family would want to know what's going on too, so they can help track that case and figure out what happened to Daniel Fremont. How did he die? And most importantly, why? Another top story we're tracking right now. You ever hire somebody to do work for you and then they just kind of flake out on you? Well, one woman hired a guy to do some major renovations to her home, and he just took the money, took her credit cards, racked up some huge bills, and gave her nothing in return. This is that guy right here. He's a Boston spa man who was hired to renovate this woman's home. Her name is Corinne Van Patten. She's the victim here. This is a contractor scam. Instead of getting her home renovated, she got a pile of debt and a bank account with no money left into it. This contractor, he went by the name C.J. Galantino. She thought he was a friend. Now she's saying this guy flipped her life upside down. C.J. Galantino also goes by the name Chad Nichols. He's a con man, authorities say, who has been convicted of 6 larcenies in the past 13 years. Authorities say Nichols wiped out Corinne Van Patten's entire savings account, as well as her retirement funds in a contractor scam. Ms. Van Patten hired Nichols back in 2023 to renovate 2 of her bathrooms, renovate her kitchen, as well as a deck on her house. The guy never finished any of the work he started. Instead, he racked up $84,000 in payments and credit card charges. Yikes. Van Patten finally had her chance to confront Nichols in an Albany County court today, but Nichols never showed up. The judge, though, he was still there. He sentenced Nichols to the maximum prison time almost for his charges. So he'll now be serving up to a max of 14 years on 3 separate charges for conning different people, including grand larceny and criminal impersonation. A warrant is now out for Chad Nichols' arrest because, again, he somehow thought he didn't have to show up to court today. So good luck, Mr. Nichols, with your future. Well, we always like to end on a more positive story here on the 13 Now newscast. And this is one I thought was kind of interesting. I've got a younger brother. We used to fight all the time. A lot of siblings, whether you got a sister, brother, whatever. It can be difficult to learn to live with one another. Am I right? Well, we want to introduce you to one pair of siblings who not only learn to live together, but also to work closely together for a combined like 70 years together. Take a look at these 2 brothers right here. These are the O'Brien brothers. They look familiar? Well, if you are from the Lenox area of Massachusetts, you might recognize these guys as your fire chief and your chief of police. 2 chiefs here. Police Chief Steve O'Brien and Fire Chief Chris O'Brien. Yes, they are brothers. And interestingly, they're both retiring the same year together after a combined 7 decades of service to their beloved Berkshire County community. Both of the O'Briens are natives to the town of Lenox, Massachusetts. Police Chief Steve O'Brien and Fire Chief Chris O'Brien, they shared with our own Sabrina Dami that they knew it was time to move on and retire when they realized just how many other things in this world and in their lives they still had left that they wanted to do. They said their time serving the town of Lenox alongside one another as brothers has been the absolute honor of a lifetime. So we don't know what is in store for the O'Brien brothers, the Chiefs, but we wish them the very best here at News Channel 13. And that is it for us right now. We had a lot of crazy snow this morning. Schools were canceled, a lot of accidents. You want to know exactly how that all unfolded? Watch us coming up here on NBC News Channel 13 at 11 o'clock. We're going to have a full breakdown of what happened today with the weather, as well as, most importantly, what this weekend has in store. Because, spoiler alert, it's going to get pretty messy, maybe even worse than we saw today. Anyway, I've been Steve Koosh. Thank you for joining me. We'll have more coming up at 11 o'clock. Hopefully we see you there. And if I don't, as I always say, I don't blame you. 11 o'clock, it is late to watch the news. And if I was you, I might be sleeping. I got kids. They're already asleep. If I was home, I'd be passed out with them because my kids wake up at 5 a.m. and it is a hassle. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching tonight. Make it a good one, and I will see you all later.